Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and today my guest is evolutionary astrologer Mila. Hello, Mila.
Hi, Lada. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. You're a favorite here. People love your way of presenting, they love your way of explaining things. And we're talking today about Pluto conjunct the Sun at the end of Capricorn and the beginning of Aquarius, because this is a
Exactly.
very evolutionary position. That's why you're the best person to explain it.
I'll try. I'll do my best. Thank
Can
you.
you first tell to people why is Pluto so important for the evolutionary astrology and for the evolution of the soul? What does it represent?
Pluto represents the soul desire for incarnation. So where we are all in a spirit form, well, depends on people's belief system. But before we come here on planet Earth in physical manifestation, the soul is part of everything, is part of unity consciousness. And then always the soul wants to evolve, and also the source wants to evolve through different experiences. So then we incarnate based on what we want to learn, what we want to grow, what we want to correct from previous incarnations, or how we would say it. And everything is just experience. So that's why I always try to explain there is no really, from the higher dimensional perspective and soul perspective, there is no right and wrong, because the polarity only exists here in a three-dimensional reality. It doesn't mean that we should invalidate our feeling and say, yeah, everything is illusion, la la land, because we are still here in a human incarnation and this is real. What we experience in is real. However, when we are higher up, we don't polarize. This is bad, this is good. So the soul will decide, okay, I want to have this experience because I want to grow. And from the human perspective, we might go like, I never chose that. Why would I choose this? This is crazy. But the soul wanted to have that experience because it would allow us to grow. And as we know with the hero's journey, it teaches us to be self-reliant, to feel competent, to feel resilient, and also is the path of self-mastery. So
As
yes, so
we
therefore,
know, Pluto's transits and influences are the most extreme from the point of view of human experience. It connects to deaths, to sudden transformations, to crisis. But from the soul perspective, that's actually the only thing that drives change within us psychologically and on the soul. Even very, very evolved people that are into self-improvement, often they would not make big changes until there is some crisis and there is some very polarizing, like you called it, event, which is Pluto zone. And that's why you say what evolutionary astrology says, that Pluto is the planet most responsible for the evolution of our soul.
exactly. And that's why the orbit is so slow, because the change, as we always can see with each generation, like when Pluto goes through a particular sign, at the end of the transit, the change is so profound. But we would have never known, for example, now with the Pluto ending its stint in Capricorn, we would have never known what world will look like in 2023, 2024, in 2008. We would have never known, because Pluto makes such a huge change, but it's over a time, and then it's irreversible. We cannot go back in time, because once Pluto is done with the sign, there is no going back. And that's actually where we at now with this 29 degrees, 59 minutes. I mean, it's like crazy.
So we're well, Pluto will dip back into Aquarius for a month and a half or two. But every time it gets to this 29th degree, it's like something is going away, something is leaving, something. And I keep saying that Pluto in Aquarius felt heavy because, sorry, in Capricorn, because Capricorn is a slow sign. So changes were happening slower, at least psychological changes. It felt for me like a lot of people were working on one or two life topics during Pluto in Capricorn that kept repeating and repeating and repeating and the same issues over and over, because Capricorn likes to basically repeat the same lessons, and you're not done with the transformation quickly with Capricorn. You go back, make the same mistake, try over, and we have to use a lot of willpower. And like Capricorn rules the some of the biggest muscles in the body. We have to use a lot of muscle and willpower, and I would say even mental and soul muscle, to wade through this very heavy consistency of Capricorn, which feels to me like almost wading through some kind of a cement, you know. So, but in Aquarius, it feels to me, because it's air, the changes will be much faster, psychologically, on an emotional, on physical level, on social level. I think it's going to be like, go, 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 bam, bam, bam. And we're not going to be looking back and saying, oh, I'm missing this part of me from the past. Oh, I wish I could do this. It's going to be, because Aquarius is so future-oriented sign.
Yeah.
When we're done with certain aspects, when Pluto goes into Aquarius of our psyche or whatever, we're just moving forward. We're not looking back. And that's how I'm feeling it, that there'll be a lot of easily people who cut off connections, because Aquarius has this very cutting energy, like, bam, you're out of my life, bam, this bad habit, bam, and future forward. I'm so excited for the future. I'm looking forward. That's the mentality of Aquarius.
Yeah, and it's also like, I mean, I don't know how about you. I can just speak for my experience and the people that I am in communication with, more frequently. But since we entered this year, it's like I feel like we did quantum leap. Like everything is happening so quickly already. I mean, Pluto is still in Capricorn, like when we're recording this, but everything is happening so quickly. And what's been coming to me when I'm doing my videos is that now we are in a time of our collective evolution where we can literally transmute everything that came before very quickly, because before even people were born into lifetimes where they were working on the same topic for multiple lifetimes and nothing much changed. Society didn't change. And now it's like the big culmination of all the grand cycles that came before. Is this culmination of culminations, and everything is moving very quickly, and we have the opportunity to do it on the quantum and energetical and frequential level, rather than having to have to the work, like this tangible, like earthy work. Like, yeah, it has to be a hard work, where now a lot of people are into energy healing, and you can transmute generational trauma like very quickly.
Exactly. I'm always like, because this Pluto in Capricorn still felt very slow for me. Like all the transformations were so laborious, painstaking, and slow. But when Pluto dipped in 2023 in Aquarius, for 2 months, I changed. I shifted so quickly. Then went back in Capricorn, back to my old ways. And I'm like, no, I wanted to be into Aquarius.
Yeah, because we are Aquarius risings, you and I. So we are like, bring it on. We were born for this.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, the ascendant. Pluto's gonna conjunct our ascendant. So yeah, let's see.
In 1 year, both of us battered.
Yeah, like, what was I wishing for? And I have my Pluto square coming up as well. So I'm like, yeah, left, right, center is all happening at the same time.
Oh, it will be fast as well. It's not gonna be slow. Like it's gonna be fast. Yeah.
Yeah, Pluto is going to like, when you have to rip the band-aid, he's gonna do it quickly, for sure. Especially once I feel, especially once Uranus as the ruler, modern ruler of Pluto, will move into Gemini, because air on the top of the air, and then with Saturn, Neptune moving into Aries 25, 26, it's just all this masculine energy. So I really feel that universe is giving us this last retrograde into Capricorn in the fall for the eclipses. It's like, okay, give them a breather, because then they won't know what hit them from November onwards. It's just going to accelerate even faster.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Because when Uranus and Neptune, they move in 2025, don't they? Into the
Yeah, they're going to like go and then retrograde and then go back. So by 2026, they're all going to be stationed in a new signs. I believe even Chiron is going to be moving into Taurus in 2026. So it's like full stream ahead from then onwards, like all these massive changes, because these planets and Chiron also, they move so slowly. So that's going to be a huge brand new energy to deal with by that stage.
Yeah, let's come back now to Pluto.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Conjunct the sun, because the actual conjunction happens at the very last degree of Capricorn, but on the same day, while they're still conjunct, they move together in Aquarius. This is like, I've never seen such a thing.
And it's not just that, but that's why I want to show the chart, because also moon will move. So it's literally like we have the Pluto Sun conjunction on the last minute of Capricorn, and it's like unheard of. At the same time, moon is trining them, and then moon is going to move from Taurus to Gemini, the choice, thinking different way, and then sun is moving, and then a few hours after sun, Pluto is moving. It's all happening on the same day, and it's like, this is a huge energy that's going to be switching from the earth to the air. So that's why I really feel that probably, like, I don't know how about other people, but with my Cancer moon, I'm already tapping into the energy and I feel very unsettled. Like since yesterday, I'm starting to feel very unsettled. I'm like, something is brewing. I can feel something is cooking. So I'm like, okay, there's going to be a massive shift in frequency for sure.
How do you think it might affect the world, for example, like socioeconomically, something like
Well,
that?
I don't, I don't like going into these
Okay.
predictions because I'm
I
like,
do that.
oh, I
Don't
don't
worry.
want to, like, I know the energy that wants to manifest through whatever will be taking place with regards to us as a collective evolution, and where the universe, or, that something that is orchestrating all this movement is trying to push us towards. I understand that. But now how it's going to manifest, and this is also a big question for individual, because not everybody's going to have the same experience. And this is why also, because you work with frequencies and stuff, it all depends on what timeline you choose to experience. It doesn't mean that all that is not happening, but this is where I feel, especially with this Gemini energy that is weak, in a background, like hiding over there. It's all about this multidimensionality. And this is what I feel, that since the beginning of this year, we're tapping into this multidimensionality when we learning to hold both, or like multiple perspective, where yes, absolutely, there is all this happening in the world, and it doesn't mean I'm not affected, but also we are all having our individual experience, and how everything that's going to be taking place will be experienced in your personal life depends what frequency you are tuning into and how much you listen to your inner guidance. Also, it depends what lessons you came here to learn, because still the soul has the precedence. But it's not going to be linear, this clear cut, just like with Capricorn, that okay, this is happening, it's happening for everyone, and everybody is going to be affected in the same way. I feel that there's going to be this collective energy that we all will be tapped into and affected in certain way, but directly or indirectly. And how individuals will be affected depends on their own evolutionary path and what frequency and timeline they are tuning into.
Mm. Interesting. Beautiful. Yes. Would you like, I let you share screen if you want to share and show
Yeah, I
us?
would like to share the chart so people actually can
Yeah.
see what we are talking about. Let me just close this. Okay, I have quite. So this is the actual chart of the conjunction, the 20th of January. For me here, it's going to be in the morning, 7:46 a.m. Of course, for Europe, it will be in the afternoon, Australia even later on. So we can see, ignore the rising and all that, because that depends on where you are in the world. But we can see this conjunction on 29 degrees, 59 minutes. And of course, it's still within, the same sign as Mars and Mercury. Mars and Mercury are preparing for another conjunction. They had conjunction in December in Sagittarius, and now they're going to have another conjunction in Capricorn, which also is not something that is common. I mean, the two of them conjunct fairly quickly, but not like every month.
Yeah,
I mean, this is not, again, something that's usual. But we can see what's actually happening in the sky. Just as I mentioned, Moon is on the last minutes of Taurus. So we have a direct trine between Moon and Pluto and Sun conjunction, which is in Capricorn. And just to make people aware, this is the last conjunction between Pluto and Sun in Capricorn in our lifetime. Like, I don't think there's going to be anybody alive for the next one in 284 years or whatever, however long it's going to take for the next round. But this is how very important this conjunction is. It's not just the Pluto-Sun conjunction in Capricorn. It is the last one in our lifetime, which is literally showing us that we are ending this Pisces age, this Capricorn, this hierarchical system. And it literally, it doesn't matter how it will have to take place, but it's going to happen. Whether it's going to take 100 years, 200 years, it's going to happen. We are moving now, we officially moving into the age of Aquarius. I know we've been there for, a few decades now, but it's really happening in real time now. Mm-hmm. So there is no going back. There is no, and we know also, without going into the what's going on in the world and stuff, but we can see how everything is being pulled out of the hat at the same time. Like all these things that were used to scare people, to create this fear porn in the world, it's all being pulled out of the hat at the same time. Literally, like, let's put it all on a table, and all these disclosures and unveiling. And literally, I was trying to explain it to people in my videos in a way that, imagine Pluto was working so hard in Capricorn, 15 years, 16 years by the time it has its last, retrograde and all that. How much dirt Pluto dig out during these 15, 16 years? This year, it's all coming out. It's all coming out. We have 29 degrees, 59 minutes. It is all coming out because Pluto is like,
nothing will stay.
I am done with Capricorn now. I am going into Aquarius in November.
But it's almost like we have one more year to the next Pluto conjunction with the sun that will happen already in Aquarius to finish those Capricorn things with the government, institutions, and certain area of our life. For everyone, this Pluto sun conjunction will happen in some area of your life. It's like some really hard, long period is coming to a conclusion. And with the moon trine, for me, things like the soul will be free from it in a very natural way. Almost like you give up something, you let go of something over the next 1 year in an easy, and it will live your life and you'll complete something. And 29-degree for me is also a reward of some sort. And the trine from the moon, reward for the soul, for the hard work of Pluto and Capricorn.
And also we can see that, well, I mean, it's now coming out of the orb, but still technically Pluto is squaring the nodes, even though it's more than 10 degrees now. And the resolution is the south node ruled by Venus, and Venus is squaring Neptune. And Neptune is again about this letting go, about the ending, the end of the cycle, the culmination. We have the Chiron conjuncting with North Node, but the exact conjunction is not till February 19th. So again, culmination, ending of the cycle. Jupiter-Uranus, culmination, ending of the cycle. Also Saturn-Neptune, culminations, even though there is a white orb, but they are both in Pisces, so they're in the same, sign.
Closing, yeah.
Exactly. So we are closing on also Venus to Mars. The exact conjunction will take place in Aquarius. And after Pluto moves into Aquarius, we'll have the conjunction with the personal planets, Mercury, then Mars on the Valentine's Day, and then Venus on the 17th of February. So we have all these new cycles that are going to be coming up for us. But just like we spoke in our last video, there is no full moon lunar eclipse in Aries. So we don't know how it's going to look. We also don't see, like here's the exact inconjunction between Uranus, who is the greatest awakener. Uranus is making a positive aspect to Mercury and still technically Mars as well. But we can't see because we are so used to trusting the external rather than the internal, looking up to someone else to tell us, to show us, to guide us. And we forgot to trust ourselves. Like the last videos that I've been talking about, it was this complete disconnection, how we were being conditioned over the centuries and millennia, especially, during the Pisces age, we were being conditioned and programmed to disconnect from ourselves, to feel small, to feel that we don't know nothing. Like there's always this someone else you should be asking. Somebody else.
Vulnerable victim, the lower vibration of Pisces.
And even if you watch any channeling videos, they all say we were being conditioned to think that we are much smaller than we are, but the soul is vast. And that's why I feel with this moon, just like you rightly said, the soul wants to free itself. It wants to free itself from this constraint of believing Jupiter squaring this conjunction, believing that that's all you are, just this matter, this carbon, this shell. But Jupiter is coming into conjunction with Uranus, and it's saying that no, it's time for upgrade. It's time to actually believe that you are much more than this physical body. This physical body is just the facilitator to have a human experience through senses, but you're much more than that. So that's why I feel, and of course, Moon is in a new phase conjunction with Uranus still. So all these beautiful trines, there is so much support. And even though we might not feel we are ready, we are ready. Venus is still trining the North Node and Chiron. There are all these, and also this last new moon of 2023, the new moon in Sagittarius was trined by the North Node. So we are going in a new direction. There is a brand new story that is being seeded for us, but we just can't see it yet because the old world is culminating. All we can see and understand is the totality of the Pisces age, because we have a full understanding of what that represents, but we don't know nothing about Aquarius age because we're right at the beginning of it. So that's why this conjunction is so important, and also the fact that it's happening in Capricorn, and we have this anomalical year of 4 lunations in Capricorn, and we starting and ending the year with new moon in Capricorn, and we have 2 full moons in Capricorn in summer on 1 and 29 degrees. again, I don't know when in history this happened last time. I really
For,
don't.
for what? For
Oh, 4 lunations in Capricorn this year.
oh, four new. Yes, I was writing the full and
2
new
new
moons.
moons.
You're right. There were.
And 2 full moons. But it's not
It's like
just
final
ending.
push to wrap this up, Capricorn energy, and a lot of developments there, especially Capricorn. It's about self-discipline, personal authority, or listening to authority, or anything, institution, government, states, all of those things.
Yeah, but Capricorn in evolutionary astrology, because in evolutionary astrology, we always look at the pairs, with the Cancer Capricorn. So if you imagine majority of people, the way they respond to current situation is fear-based because of the sympathetic nervous system being activated over and over again. Why is that? Because of the trauma. Why is the trauma? Because of the wounded inner child, because majority of people were not nurtured Cancer, they were not being nurtured the way they needed to. Why? Because their parents weren't either. And this is how it went for millennia, that because people were being made to feel small, the soul has been crushed and suppressed into smallness and believe that you cannot self-actualize and that which you are is not good enough because of external person standards or something. And we all bought into that story. There are not many people that feel safe and secure because they don't feel safe and secure within themselves, because there is that unhealed inner child within us for a lot of people that is having this response, where we just dug our heads and go, I need someone to protect me, someone external of me, Capricorn. But this is by design. This is how it was created. This is like over the decades, we were being put into smaller and smaller box without noticing. Things were being made easier for us to make us less sovereign, and then at the end of it somebody else holds the key and calls the shot and say, well, you child is gonna do what I tell you. Just like you being brought up in Eastern Europe, our dads used to say, until you live under my roof, you do what I say, my rules, I pay the bills, whatever. I mean, maybe it wasn't your story, it definitely was mine, where my dad was like, you have to do what I tell you because I pay the bills, I'm the boss here. And for majority of us, this is how we still feel, that there is someone who is telling us how to live our life. But with all this Capricorn energy and this 29 degrees, 59 minutes, Pluto Sun conjunction in Capricorn is saying, this is coming to the end. Mm-hmm. Because the Aquarius age doesn't support that. Saturn is in Pisces, it lost meaning. This is no longer the direction that is going to be supportive of us. And the other thing which is very, very interesting for me is the fact that Moon is on 29 degrees of Taurus. Pluto is going to turn retrograde, station retrograde in May, just before the new moon in Taurus. And Pluto is going to, I think, move back into, re-enter Aquarius right after full moon in Taurus. So we have this story and topic coming up. And also we had the North Node in Taurus until July last year, which is about you need to learn to trust yourself, to see yourself as asset and being able to survive no matter what. So this is what the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, this is the grand earth trine, which is helping us to manifest, because Capricorn is the, Saturn is the big manifester, the one that turns the form into formless and formless into form, especially now as Saturn is in Pisces. It gives us the ability to tap into the unseen if you've done the work, because Saturn doesn't reward you for nothing. But if you see yourself as an asset, if you see that, yes, I have gifts, I was born with something that is needed in the world, then through Virgo, trial and error, because like my good friend said, mistake is actually a take that didn't take, like when you creating a video, it usually doesn't take on a first go, it's the next, and each time is better. That's Virgo, the hero's journey. You learn and adjust, and then eventually it leads you to self-mastery. But how are you going to know how much you can achieve and who you can really become if you don't even trust yourself and if you never try? So I feel, especially as you might have noted, that we entered this year with Moon in Virgo. Moon was in Virgo on a New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. This whole year is about learning and adjusting. And it's literally telling us that the time of you externalizing your power and looking up to external authority is ending this year, because you have everything you need within you to survive, Taurus, but we need to be tested to actually start believing that. So how that's going to manifest in anybody's reality, I don't know. I know there is a lot of talk about the financial systems because Uranus, Jupiter conjunction in Taurus, but the core message and the core energy of all of this is that by the end of the year, you will have to learn to trust yourself and to actually believe that you have everything that you need within you to create everything you want. Because this external father figure, aka government or whatever institution, is not going to be so steady and reliable anymore, because
That
Pluto
would
is
be
taking care of that.
very scary for many people. I mean, that's a source of stability, this rock there, Capricorn rock, coming to an end. It's for everyone that would be scary, even for people who like to be independent and free. And it's, yeah, wow.
But
And
you
then
see,
to
like,
activate this Cancer axis of insecurity and emotional issues from childhood. Right? Interesting. That would be very psychologically challenging, I guess.
and that's why I feel that this is like the if people, like, you know, if they haven't been able to reconnect with their own emotions and done emotional work, this is the year to do it. Because the more the world becomes extreme and unstable outside, we need to be able to find that inner peace within, no matter what. There has to be that space within you, that safe space where you feel that you can always retrieve to, no matter what's taking place. And I'm not saying this is going, and I don't even know how this is going to, like, how am I going to survive? You know, I'm still tapping into system just like everybody else. But what I'm saying is that this energy will push us forward. And it's also, as we know, through all this challenging situation humanity ever went through, we had all these new creations, all these new inventions, because people were pushed to change. And this is how the new is being created simultaneously, because it is. We don't hear about it, but it is. It maybe is on a small scale that perhaps not people didn't come out of the bushes saying that, hey, I have replacement for all of these things, electricity and whatever, because they would be, you know, decapitated, as we know. But it is happening. It is happening. There are people, there are very smart people being born on the planet right now as we speak, and they are creating the alternative. So this is where we, you know, and it's very, very hard to trust. Like, how can I trust something I don't see? How can I trust whatever? I want to see the result. I want to see it in my tangible reality. But this is again about this Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, which is sextiling this. If you don't trust yourself, and if you don't trust in that spirit, that this, what you see in your physical reality, if you think that that's all there is, then yes, it's going to be very hard, because the world as we know it is changing, and it's going to be changing very rapidly. And especially from November, I mean, I believe it's going to be changing rapidly even before that, like from, you know, from now on until September. Pluto then retrogrades back into Capricorn for the eclipses, as I mentioned. But there will be already a lot of movement forward, but from November onwards, and then, as I said, we're going to end the year with the new moon in Capricorn #2, we're going in a completely new direction.
Is November when the sun enters again, Pluto enters into Aquarius again? Was that?
Yes, and the sun will be in Scorpio, I believe. Let me see. Oh, this is the exact entrance into Capricorn. Here, yeah, Pluto re-enters Capricorn. Sun is on the last degrees, but look at all these trines. Yes, there are squares. Yeah, there is a challenge. You know, there are situations that we need to
Oh my God, Pluto is, yeah, part of a incredible kites.
Yeah,
and
the kites.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's
So
wonderful.
I mean, this is what I'm trying to help people understand. And look at this, exactly in conjunction between Mercury, because it's saying that you don't see the expansion that's taking place at the same time. We don't see because it's challenging, because it makes us feel lost and confused because we cannot see. But it doesn't mean it's not there. And this is where the trust, where there is an in conjunction, the way I was being taught to understand in conjunction is that it's like a blind spot when you drive. I know now it's not so relevant because of the technology in the cars, you know, the car just does everything for you. But in the old days, people that are from the previous generations, they were used to that there was a blind spot. And all you could do was trust yourself. You had to trust yourself and your ability, your experience, you as a driver, your competency, that you know what's going on, even though you can't see. That's what blind spot is. That's what in conjunction represents. You can't see it, so you have to trust. You have to trust that there is a reason, because, you know, from the spiritual perspective, nothing ever happens at random without reason. There is always reason and a purpose for everything. And even people who've gone through very, very difficult situations, you know, at some point in their life, they look back and they understand why that had to take place and why that brought them to wherever they needed to go from that point onwards. And this is literally like, I am not spared of the human experience. I have no idea how this is going to manifest for me. And I'm not saying I'm on my high spiritual horse and I'm going to be unaffected. Of course not. You know, like we all depend on the same thing. You know, if the internet goes down, even people like us, entrepreneurs that are not necessarily dependent fully on the system, we still dependent on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are all going to be affected. However, what I'm trying to help people understand is that you are guided, you are supported. There is always reason for everything that's taking place. And it's not about trusting blindly, but you have your own inner compass that guiding you always. And that's why this Taurus, that's why this Capricorn, that's why this Virgo is so important. In a higher vibration, it's all about self-mastery. You need to learn to trust yourself. Doesn't mean you don't need other people. It doesn't mean that, oh, all for me, I don't care about the rest, and oh, I'm not affected, don't care. It's not about that. It's about how much do you trust yourself. So whatever bombardment of information, whatever pictures are being presented to you to create a certain result, let's just say, how much can you come back to your center and trust that you'll be guided and supported? And I mean, everything is pointing towards the fact that we are, and everything that's taking place, it's divinely orchestrated, that there is a reason for it, even though we might not see, we might not understand. And, you know, like how it's going to play out, I don't know. And I'm sure that there will be some challenging situations for all of us, collectively and individually. But just to know how much support there is, we are never alone.
This is incredible. Pluto is part of a mystic, what was that called? Rectangle, part of a kite, part of, it's incredible. And Neptune is supporting it in the first ingress in January and in the second. So like you said, this reliance on the invisible higher power within us, Neptune in Pisces, of course, that it's, we're going to have this internal feeling like, almost like mystical experience, even if the world might be falling apart around us, or shifts might be big. It's like, God has your back, or some invisible force has your back. That's how I feel it.
But it's also about the fact that, you know, so many people are stuck in a situation where they are literally dying inside. I was that person until not so long ago, that I literally felt like I was dying inside. You know, I had to do a job I didn't like. I was surrounded by people that I didn't necessarily resonate with. And we are again being conditioned that this is how it is, that there is no other choice. Well, this is how it's always been. So this is how this is the normal. It's been normalized. Human suffering has been normalized. But it's not normal. It's not okay. This is not how we always lived, you know, forever and ever. It's just a history that was written by a man, which, you know, it's again, we can question how much of that is actually truth and how much is a perception, you know, of someone that was trying to create certain, again, not going into rabbit hole. But what I'm trying to explain, you know, with all of this is actually that, you know, again, there is a reason for everything. There is a reason why things are happening in the way they are happening, and it's all to turn you back onto yourself, like to help you to reconnect with yourself and to trust that inner guidance that is going to support you. And this moon in Cancer, it's in its rulership, you know, the one leg of this, you know, everything that's going on here, rectangle, kite, and the grand water trine. It's again about tapping into your emotion. And I really feel that more and more people are coming online when it comes to their spiritual gifts, their channeling, their intuition, you know, like there are more and more people coming online. Oh yeah, and what I wanted to say with what I started saying is that so many people feel like they're dying inside and they feel stuck. They feel like there is no way out. So sometimes there is this Uranus, you know, this tower moment that gets us unstuck, where it's just like, oh my God, what just happened? You know, what just hit us? But then at the end of it, we'll go like, oh, well, but now I kind of have an opportunity to maybe, you know, go after what I want or connect with people that I resonate with, because it's a lot of it. It's like being loyal to something that lost the meaning because it's part of the past. And I feel that a lot of people will, you know, especially with the South Node in Libra, will be moving away from that actually you don't have to people please or sacrifice yourself just to fit somewhere where maybe you don't fit anymore. Maybe you are a polar bear and you're trying to live in Sahara, you know?
Absolutely. And I've noticed also something on this last ingress of Pluto into Aquarius at the end of this year. According to ancient astrology, when each of the 7 visible planets, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, Moon, and Mars, are in separate signs, which it will be on these days, it creates a yoga of spiritual mastery. It's one of the highest, best possible. Very rarely a person is born like that. Some highly spiritual people, people that have, even if they're not like some yogi or whatever, they have this mastery of their soul. And it's a very good sign for me with this last final ingress of Pluto in Aquarius for humanity, for many people that can. And also when all planets are not, because sometimes when there are many planets in one place, like stellium or whatever, there's no other resources you can grab on. There's everything concentrated in one place. But look how this splash formation, all planets in different signs. So if something is, if your world is falling apart and if everything is shaken up, or like Pluto and change of signs, for many people it happens for them. Not in a negative way always, but some big changes. But you have other resources to grab to, all those other planets helping from different angles, and you're not going to be left, with just one resource or focus there.
That's why I feel that, like especially this year, if people haven't been focusing on that, it's very important to decide what really matters to you. What really matters to you, what is important to you, because you see, and I know this is morbid, and I don't particularly want to go there, because my standpoint on death and most people is very different. But most people wait until something tragic happens in their life, like diagnosis, to start living, to actually start living life, to start appreciating things, or starting thinking like what is actually important, what is the priority, why sweat over the small things. So I really feel that whatever will be happening is, it's giving us the opportunity to really decide what really actually matters. Why are we even here? What is the real purpose? So I feel that this, from the spiritual perspective, and like you said, even with the yogas, it's giving us the opportunity really to ascend this density of being so fixated and attached to these things that don't actually even matter, So I really feel that from the evolutionary point of view, whichever way it's going to take place, but eventually it's going to be, it will turn up to be the best thing. Maybe we won't experience it, I don't know, but I really also truly believe that there will be no wars on this planet within next 50, 100, 200 years. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to experience it, but I don't think that this will, because it's the same cycle, we keep repeating the same cycles, just like you said with the Capricorn, same cycles over and over again. And how much do you need to have the same experience to, to learn the lesson? Because universe will always test us. And with this conjunction that's happening now on Saturday, with this 29 degrees, 59 minutes, I feel that universe is done with that. It's like, okay, I had enough experience of this. Like, we need to try something different now. And we're being pushed.
Repeat. And that's the last. We'll probably feel a little bit more this year, the Capricorn energy, because Capricorn is a bit connected to the past, to repeat, to fix some last things. But Pluto is already moving into Aquarius from January. And I don't know, I think the heaviness, and I felt with Pluto and Capricorn, I achieved so much, but it was such a slow and difficult process. And I still feel stuck in my soul. Like I feel my soul, yeah, I can have, for some people, they might feel stuck because of external circumstances, but believe it's not always that. I have everything I've always wanted externally, just internally, I still feel like in a bit of a, some restriction to my soul. And I really feel like when Pluto enters Aquarius out, I wish for everyone, because it's much lighter sign, air, that will feel freer, like the soul, because Pluto is connected to the soul, for the soul to move freely, more freely, and to be more, because we've done the hard work of Pluto and Capricorn, of self, being very self-critical, being very learning organization, learning self-control. A lot of us have worked on that, a lot of us have worked on our inner authority or relationships with authority, and had toxic relationships with authority as well.
Right.
With my dad, it's been on and off forever. And now it's very different energy with Pluto in Aquarius. It's this heaviness will lift off, plus Pluto making ingressing both times so many supportive aspects. First with the moon, with Neptune is supporting, then the second time Neptune and the sun and Uranus supporting. So that should be a hopefully smoother transition.
Yeah, and I also feel that for many people, their consciousness is widening, you know, because
Yeah.
Aquarius is taking us beyond. So suddenly people can see the multiple timelines, the multiple perceptions, you know, for example, like looking at our parents, well, they did the best they could. Yeah, I can hold both. It still happened. And, you know, I still felt this way. It's still, you know, but like to try to hold the entire spectrum of what it all means. So I think that people's consciousness is like literally widening, and they can hold many more things that they did before, and it also allows us, you know, to transmute the energy and shed the density faster. But I really feel that the main key to everything is how much resistance you want to put out, because we know that this is happening. We know that we're not going back. With the 29 degrees 59 minutes, we are not going back. This is literally the last year. So it really depends, like if we accept that, okay, we're going forward, there is no going back, now how can we make the most out of it? So the least resistance people put to, you know, to that change that we know is inevitably coming, and now knowing what we're dealing with, but not knowing the final outcome exactly, but what can we do about it? You know, how can we go forward with this energy that is being offered to us?
What if it's being offered to us is not something we like, really, and it's not something moral, and it's not
But you can
something good
always
for
choose.
humanity?
You can always choose, like, you know, like this is where people feel like we have no choice. There is always a choice. Like, I mean, you know, there are these little communities being created all over the world where people decide, no, I'm not complying, I'm not doing that. You just need to, and there are more of you, you know, you're not the only, you're not alone. That's the thing, you're not alone. And this is also the Aquarius, the community, the tribe. You just need to find more like-minded people and co-create that which you want to experience. You know, the experience is not going to be the same for everyone.
Can you tell me an example of some of the more negative things from a psychological, spiritual, esoteric perspective of Pluto in Aquarius?
Well, of course, there is this, you know, power, and you know, like we looking at AI, and this is again the resources I've been tapping into, and the people I follow, that they said that, well, AI, we need to look at AI from two different perspectives. This is actually Daryl Anka. And what he channeled from Bashar, the being he's channeling, and this is what he said: you need to approach AI from two different perspectives, and you can find it on his YouTube channel. He's talked about it. There is an AI that is used to help us to manufacture, you know, that is a tool. It's a very smart tool, like for example when you're using Canva or whatever, you know. But then there is an AI which is being created at the moment that you know, is going to be meant to be like a human, like a person, right? And they say you have to use a completely approach to these two different beings, because one is like meant to be used as a tool to co-create something with, but the other one, if you treat it like a slave, at some point the slave is going to fight back. So it's like, it's, if we know that this you know, AI is not going anywhere, the technology is going forward, and actually the technology can make our life easier, you know, obviously, like, you know, what easier means depends, and it can help us to maybe clean the oceans, clean the environment. There is so much good that can be done with the technology. Depends on the intent. Oh,
Okay.
am I still there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sorry. It depends on the intent and consciousness of the person that is behind it. But I really feel that when we know that there is something that is here now, how can we potentially like use this unity consciousness where we can co-create something that is beneficial for all? Because like I said, all these things that are coming forward, they can be used for good and bad, because we live in a planet of polarity. So everything can be used for good and bad. Internet can be used for good and bad. Internet contributed to the fastness of awakening, but it is used for many negative things. So it's like with everything that's coming forward, as it's becoming conscious and available to us, what could be the positive way of using it, you know, working with it rather than against it. And I know that there is like a lot of you know, dense stuff happening and a lot of negative stuff happening, but this is again something which you know, have become like conscious to me, is that where do you want to put your main focus on? Because if you really believe that you are an extension of the source and you are a divine being and you unlimited and you creating your reality, if you really believe that, if you really accept that okay, well, if I'm the creator, what do I want to create? What do I want to experience? And yes, there are other things, other creators, and we all, you know, are crossing lines with each other. But if this all is truth, that where do you want to put your focus? When do you want to put this creative energy that is manifesting, especially when it connects to your emotion? Which is why, you know, when we looking at mainstream media, they put all these horrendous pictures because they create emotional response, and the emotion is what manifests faster. So when we can see all this that is happening inside and outside of us, where do you want to put your main attention while holding both? You know, like me being Mexico, okay, I'm not having the same experience as people being elsewhere, but I am aware of it. But where am I putting my main emotion? Am I putting my main emotion to now deciding that, okay, my life is written off, let's just all suffer because we all going to be, you know, taken out or something? Or am I going to go, okay, well, I feel I have this purpose. How much can I do to, you know, make things better for people while we're still here on this journey? So where do you want to put your focus? You know, what is it that you can do? Because if you look at the big, broad picture of the world falling apart, then it makes you feel straight away disempowered and like, oh my God, there is nothing I can do, you know? So that straight away puts a stop sign and make us feel again in a victimhood that there is nothing I can do, because you're looking at the vastness, you're looking at the everything. But what about your own personal life? And what can you do? You know, maybe you can do some healing on yourself. Maybe you can do some ritual, you know, and put good wishes and prayers or whatever. And, you know, and have the trust and belief that it's going to have an effect. You know, we don't all have to go in the war and fight. You know, we all warriors in our own way. If you choose to be, I mean, it's up to you how you want to experience this reality. But you can, you know, you can send love out there every day. You can just put intention, okay, for 5 minutes I want to sit here and send love into the world, whatever it is. But you decide where you want to put that creative energy and life force you have within you, and that is then creating your experience simultaneously while everything else is happening at the same time. So this is why it's so important for people to actually focus on the inside. What can you do? Not on what you can't, because then you're going to be paralyzed in fear, and that's it. Then what else can we go from? Where else can we go from there?
Thank you. And then one last question. What do you think the highest evolutionary purpose for humanity and individual soul is of Pluto in Aquarius? What does it want to achieve with us individually? Like what psychological transformation? What can be the best?
Individuation, following your purpose, because Aquarius and Leo come as a pair. You know, Leo is the child, Leo is the fire that's buried in your belly. That's something when you ask your kids and say, hey, let's do something, and they get all excited.
Yeah.
You know? Sound like innocence. But I think it's more like this freeing ourselves from all this Capricorn. Like Capricorn is not bad. Capricorn creates a structure and is a maturation. But what we are talking about is this shadow of Capricorn.
The heaviness, let's say.
Yes.
And
So
the
I
fears,
feel,
the heaviness and fears, I would say that's the most negative of Capricorn.
because every sign that comes, you know, as we know with astrology, that every next sign is here to correct the one before. Just like with the generation, that every next generation is bringing gifts that can help support the previous, what everything came before. So this is how I look at Aquarius, that Aquarius energy is streaming through. Everything's got polarity. Again, it's up to you which one you want to focus on, but the Aquarius energy in the highest vibration is coming through to free us through this. You are a victim, you can't do it, you know, you need someone else to tell you how to live your life, what is your purpose, all that, to create equality. Because as we know, the sign of Aquarius is the two parallel lines. And then when we come in from the sense of, I know who I am, I know what I'm seeking, it's not about judgment that, oh, I judge you for not being like I am, or I judge you for not being what I want. But it's like, okay, if you really can choose your timeline and tap into the frequency of what you want to experience, because Aquarius is all about frequency, resonance, quantum, you know, all this kind of thing, Tesla energy. So if that is a truth, if that is what you believe, because you manifest whatever you believe, which is why you can find a proof for the fact that, you know, Earth is flat or Earth is round. You can find plenty of proof for both, because whatever you believe, you will find the proof for 100%.
Absolutely.
So if you believe that, okay, if this is truth that I am being unlimited beings, or this is my truth, right? And everything that I'm in resonance with, I attract, then we can attract people that, are like you. So with the Aquarius energy, I feel that is, like putting us on this timeline, supporting us towards creating a reality where it doesn't mean that just because you are different or believe something different, it makes you wrong. Because I know who I am and I know what I want. So yes, like perhaps I need to cross a line with someone to learn something, but all in essence, I know that I'm going to get myself tapped into the frequency and timeline that actually is helping me to evolve and go further and faster, on that line. And I feel this is what it is for humanity, and also again expand us and our consciousness in the understanding that no, we are not the only ones in the universe, and then again it's this co-creation, and it's all about the unity consciousness, because I feel that the everything that source created to have an experience was separate for so long that now universe, source, whatever you call it, whatever your belief, it wants to actually experience the unity. Like, okay, what it would feel like if actually things got united again.
Going back again, yeah.
Because after Aquarius is Pisces, right?
So
this is, I mean, yes, like from the Pisces age, that's different, but Pluto will move into Pisces, and funnily enough, it will be there even longer than in Aquarius. It will be there for 23 years till 2067, I think it is, like crazy. So I really feel that this is what Aquarius can offer to us, to break us free from the conditioning of the past and give every person that chooses, because there is always a free will choice, which is why we are experiencing so many souls exiting the physical plane at the moment, because we all have a choice and we need to respect that every soul has a choice. But, in a higher, broader spectrum, we can free ourselves as a human collective consciousness from that which came before, that now became outdated, to actually give you the opportunity to create the reality you want to experience before everything will unite again, and then we will go back to the source.
I hope so, in a few thousand years.
But I'm not saying this is the truth, okay? I'm just saying how I understand it.
Yes, no, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Mila. Thank you for your insights, always so spiritual, so vast and multi-layered and multi-dimensional in views. And if anyone would like a personal reading with Mila, I'll put the link below in the description. She does beautiful personal readings. You can read the testimonials. People usually even comment on videos how amazing her personal readings and how much insight she gives. Again, her readings are very affordable. Currently, there is a link below to connect with Mila, to see your evolutionary astrology path and direction.
Thank you. And thank you, Lada. It's always a pleasure to connect. And
always a pleasure to hear your brilliant mind, Mila. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you.
joining us.
Thank you.